Hello, boys and girls. Here I am. Welcome to the UploadVR Gamescast. Live every Thursday. I'm Xena. Hello, everyone. And with me today is the one, the only, Jamie Felton.
I am the Lord of the Jungle.
He is indeed the Lord. Well, you were the Lord of the Jungle for a little bit today, weren't you?
I will not let them destroy my jungle. They will not destroy my jungle, for I am Tarzan, Lord of the Jungle.
We are, of course, not alone. We've got you guys in chat. So, what's up, the Steamy Pickle? How are you?
Good timing on asking when we'd start Steamy Pickle, because it's now. We are here,
it's
live.
Literally right now. A Josie is in the chat. That's interesting. How
Josie
are you,
Feltham.
Josie?
Interesting.
Feltham.
Good to see you.
Chris Richardson, Paradise
Lord of
DK, my boy. Lord of Sheffield, he said.
I am the Lord of the Sheffield. I will not let them destroy my urban jungle.
I'm about to do something actually very unprofessional right now.
Okay, well, what else is new?
What else is new? Welcome to the weekend.
It's Thursday night, but don't worry about that.
Whatever. We're here to relax. We're here to have fun. We're here to talk about VR games.
Been 2 weeks since we've done this, isn't it?
It has actually been 2 weeks, so I basically lied.
We haven't done this since the showcase, I don't think.
No, we haven't actually.
Which is nuts.
Nuts!
Lucky Do is the Lord of Seattle. I won't let them destroy my Space Needle.
Hey, Adam Hartzell, how are you? I'm off for 4 days and a few hours. Should I play some video games this weekend? I think you should.
You should, and
Adam.
I will have a lot of recommendations for you in a bit, or not recommendations, but reviews. It's a busy review day.
It is an incredibly busy review day. And just a quick shout out to our members. As you can see, Adam Hartzell has got a cute little upload power sign. That's not just because he knows how to hack the YouTubes. He is a member. So a quick shout out to our members, which include Timesso, Radical App Dev, Rick Tet, Robert Quinones, Steve Evans, Smash Reality, BR Shah, John Westra, Dominique Fruckman, and of course, Adam Hartzell. If you want to support us, become a member. Super easy. We'd love it. If you just want to support us in the chat for today, there's also the super chat, which super duper highlights your comments. You just get your little head in there. Super.
Just finding my phone so I can tweet that we're on air on the internet.
So today, as Jamie said, we've got a lot to get through, including the crazy release lineup for July. We've got, what is it, like 14 games plus one movie. What the heck? Like, I think it is actually officially the busiest month this year for VR releases.
Easily.
Not only that, here comes another crazy number. We've got 7 reviews to get through at the end of this podcast. So stick with us because we're going to be doing a little bit of catch up with our final Lassonauts review, a review on Sentence VR, a Rogue Escape, and Eternal Starlight. And Jamie's also going to be giving his views on new releases like Chess Club, Madrid Noir, and Tarzan VR on Quest.
I am the Lord of the Jungle. Believe it.
Okay, so as Hailstorm VR says, here we freaking go, Sniper Elite VR. That is exactly what we're going to start off with, because we're just going to get into some headlines. So really, it's not a specific headline. Sniper Elite VR has been our upload access VR game for, I usually say this month. It's been this week. It's been a little upload access light coverage.
Tiny one.
We've had
dinky one.
A little dinky one. So we've had lots of gameplay and such. Really, I'm going to pass it over to Jamie, and I'm also going to open up the floor for you guys in the chat to ask whatever questions you want to ask about it. This is going to be like a little dinky Q&A about Sniper Elite VR, and obviously throughout the episode, if people want to ask questions, go for it, because this guy has played so much of the PC VR version. Over to you, Jamie.
I can't get it to show on the TV. Maybe you could try, but so I was going to get our gameplay. Yeah, no, I think let's treat this as a little kind of mini Q&A session about the game. I can't answer everything because I'm probably under embargo about some things, but if you haven't seen this week, we've uploaded about 12 minutes of gameplay on Monday. We did like an article on like the 4 things that we think the game does really well on Tuesday. Yesterday we had more gameplay, and on Friday we're going to have an interview with Steve Bristow from the from Rebellion, some guys from Just Add Water who did some of the development on the game, and then we're also going to have a lovely kill compilation as well. But you know, from what I've played so far, I quite like Sniper Elite, and I didn't necessarily know if I was going to like it because it's like kind of like that B movie sensibility thing that Rebellion does so well, and obviously they've done like
I hate when you say B movie.
not B movies in the Jerry Seinfeld movies, you know, B movies an expression.
I genuinely always think of the movie. Sorry, carry on. Oh God.
Eli, I don't know how long the experience is. I will obviously be adding that up for my review next week. But it is like I've played. You saw me do 2 missions in the gameplay this week. One of them was about like a 5-minute mission. One of them's like a 15-minute mission, roundabouts. And I knew what I was doing, but in both playthroughs, so they're kind of like abbreviated versions of both levels, I guess you'd say. And yeah, you can try and start to form some sort of judgment based on that. Like, let's say if there's a certain amount of levels, like I don't know specifically, but it's definitely over 10 levels. Definitely.
So Sniper Elite VR also featured in our Upload VR showcase this year. Check that out if you haven't seen it. We revealed a bunch of cool games. And one memorable little bit was when I said I couldn't wait to shoot them somewhere.
Oh yeah. And
today you finally got that shot.
So the entire time I've played, and I've played a lot of it now, I have not managed to do a groin shot. Let's phrase it that way. But I managed to pull off an X-ray groin shot today, which you'll see in the video tomorrow, and that is quite a glorious thing. Are the levels more open-ended than what we've seen so far? So I'm actually going to say kinda. There's one of the first gameplay video we did earlier in the week. There's actually multiple routes you can take through that level. You can, when you get inside the kind of bunker area, you can actually sneak through a sewer instead of going in the front door like I did. I actually tried to record going through the sewer area, but I wasn't able to get a very cinematic experience because I kept failing. So I just went through the front door.
It was a panic.
But each level is different. So you are going to get some of those levels that are kind of like crunched down into like snipers' nests, and you won't really be using any other weapons other than your sniper rifle. Some of them are much more stealth focused. Some of them are those open-ended kind of things. Some of them are much more, you know, linear shoot straight experiences. So you do get a good mix in there. Will there be immersive Sniper Elite VR option, disabling hit points and the kill cam? Yes, you can turn off the entire UI in the game, basically. The 3 difficulty modes will change things like ballistics and how much the game tells you. So if you want the most immersive experiences, you go to hard mode, you look through the scope, you're not going to get any help. And also you have to kind of judge the shot with, you know, things like distance taken into account, so bullet drop is going to come into effect and everything like that. So you will get that immersive mode if you want. You can, in terms of the kill cam, you can turn that off if you want. You can have it really frequent if you want. You can have an option to ride the bullet into the guy's head if you want, or into the soldier's head if you want, or you can take that out as well. So there's a lot of options in that. SN1RVLR says, I don't know how to pronounce your name. It looks like Sniper Elite is standing in one place and shoot an enemy like tower defense. I hope it's not going to be like that. No, there are some levels that are snipers' nests. There are some levels that are linear, more traditional campaign levels where you won't even use the sniper rifle much. So it's a bit of both. It is not a remake; it's an entirely new game, which is cool.
So, sorry, just going back to what you were saying. In the Steve Bristow interview tomorrow, he'll be touching on the kind of ebb and flow of the gameplay and how it changes. Ebb and flow, how it changes throughout the game. So tune into that for sure.
Yeah, Paradise DK, I cannot say if it's better than Medal of Honor yet, but I think that is a specific article we will probably do around when the embargo lifts next week, because that's a very interesting comparison. Cole, you ask how the performance is on PC. So the gameplay that's been recorded this week is running on my PC. I have a 1080, and that's on medium settings, and I think you can tell from what I'm getting there, it's pretty good performance. I didn't try on high end yet because I didn't try on high end yet because I fear the chug, as we all do. So yeah, so far so good.
But it's nowhere near as hardcore as other games that you've played. Like even when you've played relatively like seemingly simpler games, it's chugged way more, whereas it seems very seamless.
I mean, in that sense, it's nice because, you know, Rebellion and Jaw, Just Add Water, know what they're doing in terms of that stuff, right? They know they've been making games for decades now, and as this particular these particular studios, so they know how to get the best out of performance and stuff. And obviously, it's, you know, Rebellion's second VR game. They did Battlezone as well, so you know they've been around before. Tom Gregory says they are watching. He's watching from the hospital. I hope you're well, dude.
Are you okay?
Can't wait for Sniper Elite VR. You've been in the hospital for 6 hours. Bloody hospitals take ages.
Bloody hospital. What is it, like A&E, or are you admitted?
Anyway, does
we
the
care
player
about
have
you guys.
Gadgets like rocks and traps in Sniper Elite 4? You can pick up items like bottles and stuff and throw them as distractions, if that's what you mean. I haven't played Sniper Elite 4, so I can't quite compare. But there are traps as well. You can set tripwires and stuff like that. Tom Gregory, do we have a confirmed price? Yeah, it's going to be... Okay, I've been told the price. I need to double check, so I won't say it live now. But I'm going to confirm it in an article tomorrow, so you will be able to know it then. Are you going to be able to physically throw grenades? So you can physically throw grenades. I didn't think you could, but then actually in a tweet, Steve Bristow yesterday said that actually if you pull one of the tags on a grenade and throw it, then it'll work, which I hadn't realized. So that's cool.
Tom Gregory's in A&E. Adam Hartzell was claiming that he punched a wall playing Echo Arena.
I don't know if that's
Rip.
I don't know if that's true.
Oh man, I'm sorry. Could have been.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like,
could have been
so
worse.
yeah, those are all good questions. I guess if you were listening on an audio thing, you probably want to know what Sniper Elite is like. And basically, from what I've played so far, I really like it. I think the weapon handling is very, very good. It does that thing where it finds like that fine line between being too authentic and, you know, too simplified. I think it does quite well in terms of most sniper rifles need like the bolt being pulled back between each shot, and you kind of get into this really cool rhythm. Like as I've been raising the sniper to my eye, I've been kind of getting into this natural rhythm of like rolling my shoulders a bit to keep them from getting tired, because it's quite a physically exhausting experience, you know, having to aim down that scope the entire time. Oh, we've got images.
I've been trying to do the video. I don't think videos are going to work this week, unfortunately. But
images will work. That's enough.
There you go.
So yeah, that's cool. Paradise DK, I don't know if you can pull out the grenade pin with your teeth. Avon Jacob, yeah, we will look to do a graphics comparison, not just between Quest and PC, but also hopefully we'll get the PSVR version in there. I haven't played the PSVR version yet, which I'm very interested to do, because you think, oh yeah, the aim controller, that's like what makes perfect sense for the game. And indeed, the game started on PSVR with the aim controller. So that's going to be a very interesting experience. But of course, with the aim controller, you don't get the physical action of pulling back a bolt and stuff. So I'm going to be very interested to see if that changes up the game in ways I prefer or don't prefer. But I suspect I'm going to miss the action of pulling back the bolt, because it gave the game such rhythm.
Well, this is something else that Steve goes into again in the interview that we're going to be posting tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
right here on this YouTube channel. Like, comment, subscribe. Do it.
Do it.
Do it. Yeah.
Oh, you okay?
No, I'm
Yeah.
just saying, do it.
So yeah, I don't know. Like, I can't give you a definitive verdict on it yet because obviously that's a review thing and that's next week. But I think there's a reason to be pretty hopeful, to be honest with you. And people are asking again, like, can you kill the kill cam? Yes, you can kill the kill cam.
Blasted right in the nuts.
Yeah, I'm gonna be interested to see how it runs on Quest for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting.
I want to check that out because it's good. It's big levels. Look at this.
Cool.
What's
there
to be
you
done? And
go.
getting scopes running on standalone is kind of hard as well. So we'll see how it goes.
Again, everyone, just in case you've just joined us, we are. Well, I think we're going to do an ongoing Sniper Elite VR Q&A throughout this episode. So if you've got any more questions or anything, chuck it in the chat, and we'll just keep going back to it as we move through each of the subjects and the stories that we're going to go through today. Yeah, just feel free to chuck it on in. Are there any other questions that you want to cover, or?
Not just yet. Phil is asking if there's going to be anything from Stress Level 0 on the podcast today. I'm afraid not, Phil. I wish we had something to talk about, but
yeah,
still waiting on that one. So not so much.
Anyway, I'll move on to the next headline. Well, basically the only headline that we're going to be strictly talking about. Everything else is just kind of like lists and such. So this is about Halo VR. This week it was revealed on Twitter that the Halo Reach VR mod, aka Reclaimer VR, is now on ice, as the modder Nibre said on Twitter, which you might know him from the other excellent VR mod of Alien Isolation. The reason why it's on ice is because he's actually officially working on the Halo Master Chief Collection series as an engineer. That seems to be a thing that keeps happening, right? Studios whipping up modders, as they should.
Yeah, I mean, when you do something like that, you're hiring someone that just has intimate knowledge of the game at the end of the day, right? Which is, I think, it's a really cool move. I think it's a very encouraging move. I hope, at the same time, you hope they don't whip up all the modders. Well, what I would like to see more of is when someone does a really good VR mod like Mother VR. I really wish Sega and Creative Assembly would just go back and say, do you know what, let's just pay this guy and put it officially in the game, because he did a really, really good. Oh, they did a really, really good job of it.
Mother. I just need to get that out. Mother.
So yeah. It's a shame. So people take this news as the Halo VR modder is working at 343 Industries now. That must mean that Halo's VR is coming. I don't really necessarily think that's the case. I just think that this particular modder got very, very good at modding Reach to the point where for supporting the Master Chief Collection and everything like that, that's what they got hired for at the end of the day, is coming on and showing that support in different areas of the game. Because along with that announcement, what happened was that the modder released an update on Steam of the Master Chief Collection with better Steam VR support, better
officially.
Yeah, an official update, not Steam VR support. Sorry, my mind ran with me for a second there. With better mod support, and it was talking. There's a update on the store page talking through the improved mod support for the Master Chief Collection. So clearly, that's what they've been working on. It's not necessarily Halo VR stuff, which is obviously a real shame. Don't get me wrong. I would love to be wrong. I would love to see Halo Reach get some sort of official, or the entire Master Chief Collection get some sort of official VR integration. But it would be a weird one because, as far as we know, Xbox is not doing official
No.
VR still at the moment. So you maybe just have it on PC right now, which would be very strange for Microsoft. And yeah, it's what chat is saying. Microsoft doesn't do VR games right now. They did a tiny Halo experience that was exclusive to the Windows VR thing. It was awful, really, really, really terrible. I've played it. Do not bother playing that.
I think what they've done with Nibre is actually very interesting. They're enabling other people more, right? So they're probably Microsoft is probably pushing more towards a third party source, like modders come in, especially when they release stuff on Steam. Come on in and mod it the way that you want and put in VR if you want, but they will never officially do it themselves. But I think it's pretty positive that they brought them on board.
Yeah,
I don't know who
yeah,
they
for
are.
sure. And I look forward to seeing what work they do. It's a shame we're not going to see that Reach mod because again at the end of the day it's kind of in that message that they gave on Twitter that the mod's on ice and Reach is part of the Master Chief Collection on PC. So if it's on ice, that kind of just tells you that there probably isn't any actual VR work going on right now. Unless it was one of those, very sly, it's on ice, wink, wink, wink things. I can't wink with this avatar, so I just did the head movement. But that's, yes.
Afterwards,
wink,
your
wink,
head
wink.
went down and your eyes went left to right, like you were just contemplating the bad decisions you had just made.
A real Charlie Brown moment.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone seems to be on the same level here. Game Pass is cross-platform, maybe on the PC side of Game Pass, hopefully. Xbox VR.
I hope so, but I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah, it is what it is, really.
Yeah, Hailstorm, I think you're right. Like, they would do a great job getting some compatibility with the Quest in there. I think my suspicion is, there were reports about a year or two ago. Obviously, at one point, Microsoft said that, I forget which Xbox it is now because the naming's so terrible. It was the Xbox One X. At one point, they said that was a VR-compatible console.
I don't know.
No, series are the new ones. The Xbox
Bloody
One
hell.
X, they said was a VR compatible console, and so obviously there was work going on there, and obviously they were planning to do something with a headset. And the reports were that they shelved a headset after they saw the reaction to the original Rift, PSVR, and everything like that. They thought, let's leave it. So I still kind of remain confident that if PSVR 2 comes out and does pretty well, and the Quest line continues to do well, it's going to become a thing that Microsoft can't ignore, and that will probably, I'd like to think that will happen this generation, and that they'll just be able to come out in a couple of years, because it's not like it's going to take them years of software planning or anything like that. Sure, they're going to want a couple of exclusives, but at the same time, they're going to be able to launch on day one with Superhot and Walking Dead and all the other usual ones. It's not like those games suddenly would just refuse to come to Xbox or something. So they can take their sweet time. They're sitting pretty.
The sweet time. We're going to move on from that story.
Please,
put it behind us now. We're going to move on to how crazy this month's going to be. In a good way, because July has got 15 things coming out across all platforms that we know of. Exactly, they just kind of surprise pop up throughout the month as well. But 15, well, what was it? 9 new things and 6 ports.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. Like, there's some of the things in there are just
they're just going to be moved over,
coming to Quest or whatnot.
Loads of stuff is coming to PC VR. Let's get into it. So, we're not going to really touch on these too much because Jamie's going to review them later. But coming to Quest, these 3 things: Chess Club, which is basically playing chess in VR, but there's an animated version, like within the game, where it gets all fantasy and gets all freaky. Looks very cool. Again, Jamie will talk about it. freaky. Tarzan VR is also coming to Quest, which is already on PC and PSVR.
Yeah, the first 2 episodes are on PC. There's nothing on PSVR. I think it's the full game launching on Quest today, which I assume means that the 3rd episode is also coming to Steam VR today, but I don't know if that's the case.
And Madrid Noir, which is actually a movie, but it's produced by Atlas V or Atlas 5, who also whatever, who also brought us the fantastic Battle Scar, which we rated 5 out of 5. We loved the heck out of that movie. So Quest owners, you got all the cool new bits and bobs that we're going to review later. As well as that, there's also Waltz of the Wizard Natural Magic, which is DLC for Quest and PC.
I think it's a free update more than it is
free
DLC, I think. Yeah,
Free
I think it's free, whatever it is, I think. I could be wrong.
Hey, what's up, Smash Reality? How you doing, mate?
Yo.
Wizard's Chess. Yeah, that's basically it. Wizard's Chess, bloody loving it. So we touched on natural magic in the showcase again. I'm going to be saying that a lot, but it looks like you move out of the kind of tech demo room that you were in with the skull, and you actually go on, I'm going to assume, like a campaign journey of natural magic, and you have to then conquer these weird stone people.
That's it. That's the plot. You've got it in one.
I got it in one.
The premise.
There's also Sam and Max. This time it's virtual, which is coming to Quest, but is also going to be coming to PC and PSVR later down the line.
Yeah, we'll review that one next week for sure.
Yeah, a review on that one next week. Sniper Elite VR, as we know. Again, drop down your questions on Sniper Elite VR as we're just going through. Yes. Zombieland VR is getting a PC port, as well as Walkabout Mini Golf. A Township Tale is getting a Quest port. Jesus, this is long, isn't it?
Yeah.
Stones of Harleth PC port, Little Witch Academia VR, PSVR, and PC port. The Secret of Retropolis. This is a cool one. This is a new one.
I thought you'd like that.
It's just like it's a massive shame that we haven't really heard from this game recently. But Area Man Lives, which was in last year's showcase. And it was something about like you're a disc jockey at a radio station, and then you kind of decipher messages that come through to you or something.
Yeah,
but it's really quirky.
It's promising. I don't know where it's been. We need to follow up on that. But Secret of Retropolis looks very LucasArtsy, very Grim Fandango.
Yes.
So I think that's a big thing for you, right? Yes, exactly.
My boy. Yeah, it looks wonderful. The only reason why I compare it to Area Man Lives is because in Area Man Lives, in the trailer, it's like I don't have coffee, it's too expensive. Now I just suck on beans, which that sent me last year. I loved that. And then this, the Secret of Retropolis, the trailer for that, what was it again? Or at the beginning goes, I love jazz, but like in the same kind of tone. And like, I don't buy screws, they're too expensive. I don't know.
Okay. Spiritual successor to the lovely random weird quotes you like in VR trailers.
I just kind of collect them.
Smash Reality, you can run in Sniper Elite VR. You click in the stick.
In the stick, not
it's not the
physically.
Fastest run, but you might, a little sprinty.
We've also got Winds and Leaves on PSVR, and a PSVR port for Synth Riders, and a newly announced game.
Yeah.
As of yesterday, Arcsmith. Is it Arcsmith? It is Arcsmith.
It is Arcsmith, yeah.
From Bithell Games, and it's coming to Quest. And this looks cool. This is like you're on a very friendly ship, but then you get caught up in a space conflict. And the way that you kind of get through it is you puzzle around a bit with all these little blocks, which I'm assuming changes, I don't know, add-ons on your ship outside.
Yeah, you're like building little machines and stuff like drones and
Yeah.
radios and stuff like that. So I'd imagine it's a bit like Lego, but Lego with voltage, maybe.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, that's an incredibly safe idea.
So holy heck, we've got a lot coming this month. Jamie, you're going to be so busy.
Yeah,
all the way
kind
through
of.
this month.
It's annoying, right? Like honestly,
Uh-oh.
there's hardly been anything for the entire first half of the year. Like it's been so dry, and like there's at most there's been like 2 quest games a week, and you can beat both of them in maybe like an hour, or see everything they have to offer in like an hour. And now it's July, and everyone's like, oh yeah, there's like 5 pretty decent looking releases every week right now, and I'm angry, VR.
I'm pissed.
I'm the curse word, she said.
You're pee-peed. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
I'm sorry, I meant to say pee-pee.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to Arcsmith. I think it's very interesting. I think, you know, it's a Biffle Games studio. It's not actually directed by Mike Biffle, who's best known for like Thomas the Biff, who's best known for like Thomas Was Alone and Volume, and they recently did a John Wick game, and they recently did a solitaire like spin called Solitaire Conspiracy. What the studio does really, really well is story essentially, but using game mechanics as an interesting like backdrop for a story. So if you watch the Arcsmith trailer, we actually don't really get a good sense of how those puzzles work, but what you do get a good sense of is as you're progressing through those puzzles, there's a story going on around you in the space station that you're on, and it getting caught in an intergalactic conflict. And it looks like, based on the trailer, eventually like the puzzles you do, the machines you make, will start kind of coming together more with that story, and the skills you've learned, you'll start like affecting the outcome of the story with that, which I think is really, really interesting. Like,
yeah,
I'm looking forward to just the VR experience with a character like this guy up here.
Yeah,
and he's going to be in the room the entire time, and I'm hoping, you know, to talk to him, to build a relationship with him, to actually feel like that's a living,
have
breathing
a coffee with him,
space dude. Yeah. And
so just like what Smashed Reality said, Arcsmith looks precious. I don't know anything about the gameplay, but the characters are aces. There's also the little robot with the smiley face that I think is going to capture a lot of people's hearts too.
Wiki Peoples, it sounds like you're not a puzzle game fan, because Arcsmith could be pretty deep in terms of puzzling. We don't know. I do understand if you think it looks boring, it's just not for you, but that doesn't mean it's not necessarily deep.
Yeah, it's not like you go from level to level and it's like, okay, cool, now you go on to this thing that's completely irrelevant. You know, it looks like there's a story and it looks promising in that aspect.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like a puzzle game like in disguise.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, actually. It does look like that, yeah. Because I'm most interested in the story. When I'd imagine we're talking something that's going to last like 2 to 3, maybe 4 hours or something, maybe more, maybe less.
I'd say probably an hour. I don't know. Depends on the story and such.
I'm hoping for some cool puzzles. We'll see. The other thing on that list I want to talk about is Township, right? Township, we can talk about this because Township has been available on PC, so technically what we played is not embargoed, right?
I don't think so, but also when is it coming out on Quest? Because I think there's also something like an alpha of it coming out. I might be really wrong.
You get early if you pre-order, as you can do. It's this image will tell you. If you pre-order the game, you get, I think, 2 days early access to it. So you'll just get in there a bit far. It's still the same game. You're just in there a bit sooner than everyone else.
But just about the game itself, not about the quest part of it.
Yeah.
We played it together. We didn't know this. We could do the tutorial together, and that was really fun. That was great.
Well, here's the thing. I've been thinking about this more since I said it. It is RuneScape. It is VR RuneScape. Yeah. You just jump into the same kind of service.
Friendlier.
And friendlier.
Not as many chickens, but you know.
we were having an interesting experience doing that tutorial because it's not the easiest thing to pick up, especially if you've been playing more standard VR games recently. Like, you have to get used to the fact that like when you grab an object, it's not just going to automatically like snap to the most ideal way to hold it. And I really, really like that. I like having to like fumble around and find the best way to hold it. But we were getting like, it was taking time for us to just do the crafting at the start because the hammering of the nails.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah.
That's not even just, you have to act out hitting the hammer. It's like if you hit that thing to the side, it's going to go off at an angle.
So it's going to bend it. Yeah.
It's a really, really interesting experience. I think it has the potential to be absolutely huge, I have to say, on Oculus Quest. I think a lot of people that haven't played it on PC are going to get in, find all of this kind of deep interaction, and really commit to the different classes you can have.
It's got aspects of what is it called, like that ocean raft game that we played.
Yeah, it feels a bit like that. For
that
sure.
was sorry.
No, it feels like that for sure.
Oh, okay. I think it's called Ocean Raft, but
maybe it's Ocean Craft, but
Ocean Craft, yes, maybe. But it felt like that of like you're actually doing each of these things, and you're just trying to survive, and I think it's like visually very pleasing. Yes, you have to get used to it. You have to have a little bit of patience and find your kind of like. You need to make your little bum groove in the sofa, so to speak. Like, you need to get comfortable with it. But it actually felt like a truly open world, good VR game, which is rare.
Yeah,
like loads of things are like, we're open world, and it's just so empty.
Yeah.
And just like, what is I don't even want to explore this open world because it's just boring. Like, not boring, but empty.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And I think the thing is that what they've done with A Township Tale is that very clever slow burn. Let's start out small. Years and years ago, they started this project and people have been playing it for the past couple of years for sure. And they've just slowly, worked out every kind of interaction, built on top of that. Again, having said that, we've only spent about an hour or two with it yet. It might be utterly boring. We don't know, but that was mainly in the tutorial.
Well, that's the thing, an hour or two of multiplayer, just like trying to get to know a game together.
Yeah, that's true. You don't, by an hour or two of most VR games, you're done.
Yeah, exactly.
Adam Hartzell, yes, you can get not hats, but extra cosmetics if you pre-order. Chris Richardson, yeah, it's free on PC, and the game runs on buying in-game currency to get cosmetic items. So what happens is if you buy the Quest version, you get that money's amount of cosmetics, which is 1,000 talims, they're called. And your purchases, the game isn't cross-play yet. The game isn't cross-play yet, but it is cross microtransaction buy. So whatever you buy will transfer between the two games. So technically, you could look at it if you've been playing for free on PC and you wanted to buy some more cosmetics, you could just buy the Quest version and get yourself some more cosmetics and a free version of the game on Quest as well at the same time. I'd imagine that decision's got more to do with what the Oculus Store will allow a developer to do than them saying we need to charge for it. But I could be wrong, to be fair. That's very speculative.
Yeah. Great game. Give it a try on PC. We'll have a review of the Quest version.
Yeah, that one's going to take some time to review, isn't it? So it's out. Out 2 weeks today. And yeah, we need to dive in and get some proper time in with that one, because I am really looking forward to really, really diving in with it and seeing what we make of it.
Yeah, for sure. Do you want to touch on a couple more games and then we'll move on to the massive reviews, or do you just want to head on over to the reviews?
The massive reviews. Well, I'm looking forward to Winds and Leaves, mainly because it's been ages since we've had a PSVR only game. And it seems like there's quite a few of them this summer, Fract and Arashi included. I think Arashi's PSVR only. I can't remember,
Castles
but I think it is.
of Sin.
Yeah, and so I'm looking forward to Winds and Leaves kicking off what I'm really hoping to be like this kind of nice swan song era for the headset of some really cool end of life games before we hear more about PSVR 2.
That'll hopefully pass over onto the second headset.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's probably it. Yeah, we've talked about Arc Smith, we've talked about Township. Most of those are ports of Steam VR things. It's great that Walkabout's coming to PC. I think that's a really fantastic game, and I think people are going to love it on PC.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. So, Jamie, have you got some water or another kind of beverage near you? Because you're going to be speaking
same joke
for a very long time now. We're going to be running through all of the reviews that we need to catch up on, as well as the new stuff that's out today. The main thing that we're going to be catching up on is our full and final review of Lassonauts, which came out a couple of weeks ago. Multiplayer hero shooter. There's VOD, so
there's VOD.
That's all you need to know, really.
There is a
guy
VOD
who punches people in the face. Like, come on. But Jamie, take it from here on Lassonauts.
Yeah, I do realize this is kind of a couple of weeks behind now, but obviously the whole thing that happens with a game like Lassonauts is it comes out on day one. Maybe I've had some time to play it before, but with a game like Lassonauts, you need to go and play it properly once the game is out. And so I took the next week before I gave it an official score. And I ended up going with a 4 out of 5 because I know there's been a lot of controversy around Lassonauts' launch, because if you look at the roadmap, there's things that probably maybe should have been in there since launch. I think Impulse Gear made some different design decisions that they were like, this is different, and it gives the game a deliberate pace. But then they went, the community feedback was that they have to go back and change it to what everyone expects, and that that is on them, because I do think the things they put in there, like the sprint where your hands are dangling at the bottom, is not good. Having said that, lots of people then went on to say that means the game's unfinished. And I don't agree with that. I don't think Lassonauts is unfinished at all. There are a couple of bugs in there that needed ironing out for sure. But feature-wise, the game is all there, all complete. And I have to say, as someone that has not... Back when we had another games reviewer here, when it came to multiplayer games, I would usually pass them off to him because it's not my genre. Like, I've never really connected with Onward. I've never really connected with Population 1. I think a lot of these games are cool, but they just don't really speak to me. Lassonauts has... Yeah. Lassonauts is entirely my tempo. I've been playing this game quite a lot the past couple of weeks, and again, I was hesitant because we did an upload access on it a couple of months ago, and the guys were saying that it's going to take a lot to learn. You're not going to play one game and know how to do it, and in that mind, I get that kind of fighting game image, that Street Fighter image in my mind of like, well, I'm never going to be good at it. But that's not the case, actually. The different classes in Lassonauts are really good at telegraphing their obvious advantages, their obvious disadvantages, and each one speaks to a different game mode, a different part of the map. And what you end up having is these kind of really dynamic battles, I think, where if in a certain map you're playing out in a certain section and it's a certain game type, you kind of know which character you should be. So, for example, if you're doing one of the kind of capture the flag game types, you're not going to be my boy Thao up here because he's really, really slow to grab the flag. You can be him if you're not planning to grab the flag and give whoever does grab it cover fire. But if you want to be one of the people that's getting onto the front lines, grabbing the flag and getting back to base, then you want to be Ark down here who has a really cool slide feature, or Kalima. And that it's pretty fast that you start to play Lassonauts and you start to see all of those different pieces coming together. I was forming strategies that I genuinely didn't think I would be coming up with in the game so soon, pretty quickly. I would look, and that doesn't necessarily rely on communication with, even friends. It can be wordless communication of looking around a battlefield, seeing what classes other players are, knowing the kind of support they need, knowing where they are in the level. So you might be looking around and being like, well, there's no medic here and we're getting hammered, so I need to run in and provide the medic support. You might look at it as, well, they've got us really in a bottleneck in this part of the map. I can run in as Thou and provide a bunch of shields and get us out of there safely. You can even look at it as, well, the enemy is all trapped in this one bit and we are hammering on them. I'm going to switch to VOD, jump in with my close range fists. I can, as VOD, I can even activate like a power that lets like you trap people in your little sphere and then just wail on them there. And so with each of these characters, you really do open up new kinds of really valid strategies and tactics in really, really, really interesting ways. And I've just been having a blast in every match, having basically a different experience and finding different strategies at the end of the day. And it's not perfect. People are talking in chat about the running and the automatic reloading, and that is problematic. And I know it was a decision made again about deliberate gameplay flow and making sure no one can kind of game the system and everything like that. And I think they needed a better solution. I also think, yes, there are bugs that need ironing out, and I hope they do get ironed out. But I've been having an absolute blast with it. I think I wouldn't give it a full 5 stars because of those issues. I think it's still not inherently the most VR shooter out there. It could, if you could put it on a flat screen, it would probably play just as well, be just as entertaining. I'm really looking forward to, again, these are kind of features it needs if it was going to move into a 5-star, like private lobbies and well, I don't know what an immersive playlist means, but stuff. I'm looking forward to like the extra characters they deliver and stuff like that. I think it is a fast-firing, fun VR shooter with genuine depth that genuinely rewards commitment. And if you haven't checked it out yet and think that sounds like it's up your street, it's $30, and I think I personally would say go for it. I'm going to be playing more. I love it.
Awesome. So that's 4 out of 5 stars from Jamie. $30 if you want to buy that. Released a couple weeks ago. Give it a look. Again, look at this roadmap. There's a whole bunch of stuff. They know what they need to update. Some people love it. Some people hate it in chat.
Yeah, which is, I mean, that's what you get with these things. It's hard to think of, multiplayer game launches that aren't controversial, let's say.
Controversial.
There's always some sort of technical limitation or features that people don't agree with. And Lassonauts really has split people down the middle. And I think that's a bit of a shame, because I do really believe it's not unfinished. It's just there are some decisions in there that were strange. And I think that's given the game a narrative that is a real big shame, because I'm having a blast of it, and I would love to jump in with more people for sure. And maybe we'll stream it in the weeks to come, just as an excuse so I can play some more. But we'll see.
Do you think it's something that you would return to update the review, like in the full update?
Possibly. That's still not something we've done at all at Upload yet, and I do want to be doing it, but at the end of the day, we've got seven games to review this week, and and a whole month of game reviews coming up. So doing our best. That's about all I can say. Ooh.
Next
this is what
up,
we're moving on to next.
Sentenced VR, which it's been knocking around for a couple of years now, I think, and it's released on PC VR only. It's an interesting one, especially the art style. It's a striking one. It's all about morality. Jamie, what are your thoughts on this? You've actually got some surprising thoughts on this. It's different to my own.
I really like Sentence. I think it's a really, really interesting little VR experiment. The whole thing about it is it's kind of touching on the stuff that I think is really interesting in this medium of it's not just about the fact you can cut this dude's head off down here, but you know the moral complexity of doing that and evoking the emotion and the guilt and the hesitancy of not wanting to do that. So what happens in this game is
Sorry.
it's about an hour long, and you go through different executions with your town beadle here. Look at him, all happy as he is, and he'll read out I guess a prisoner's crimes. The prisoner will have a chance to not plea but say their final words, and then you get on with the deed. And you can choose
What?
You can choose not to. Okay, all right. You get on with the beheading. Thank you, Xena. And you can choose not to go through with the beheading, or you can, or you can just do it. You know, keep silent, get all the way through to the end of the game. And if you mess up too much, you'll get fired, and that's just the end of the game. You can do some silly things that will also end the game. You can just quit the job and everything like that. It's a branching narrative game where it's not about getting different outcomes in the story. It's about how much you can endure. So obviously it kind of follows kind of an expected formula of, you know, the first couple of people, they're like, oh yeah, I murdered someone, I stole something. Not that that's worth cutting someone's head off, but back in those days it was. And it eventually gets into, you know, this question of well racism, peer pressure, you know, corruption, all these kinds of things start to have an effect on the different subjects, you know, and you have this crowd here that's like pretty much always all for chopping heads off, apart from a couple of particularly taxing ones. When you review games, you try, obviously you want to get to the end of the game and tell all your thoughts about it. Here's the cool thing about Sentenced. I didn't get to the end of the game because there was one moment where there was a guy that was actually going to get off the hook, and I was like, no way. And off his head rolled. And I could, if I wanted to, I could go back and replay the entire game and get through and see the credits. But that's kind of my experience with it. That's what I really enjoyed about it. I also like the blue art style because I think it gives the world a very cold, harsh, you know, humanless feeling, which is what you're doing as an executioner. You know, it is just this horribly bleak and, you know, dispersed thing that isn't warm. And I don't think this gives warmth. I think it gives coldness. So that's only on Steam. It's less than $5 or $5. It's less than £5. I know that. And it's about an hour long. So, you know, that's, if you're one of the people that doesn't like stuff that's only going to last you less than an hour, then don't bother. But I definitely think it's, in terms of cool VR indie projects to support, this is definitely one of them.
So out of 5, how many stars?
I went with 3 because, you know, it is just this small little thing. I would have liked to have seen, you know, and again, this is one of those things where it's beyond the limits of what a small indie development project can be, but I would have liked to have seen more polish and everything like that. But I still think it's definitely a really, really cool little project that you should definitely check out.
Awesome. So yeah, the art style for me is definitely an interesting one. It's not too compelling for me, but I'm really confused about the petals, right? About all the blossom and cherry blossom going through. Like, obviously that's very either Japanese or very like dreamy, I think.
Yeah.
Some stuff that I don't quite understand about that because it is in Britain, right?
No, it's in a fictional European country from the 16th century.
See.
So
Okay.
yeah, but I know what you mean. Like it's the same color as the blood that gets spilled once you that gets covered in the sword. So There's some kind of imagery going on there, some links going on there. Just returning to
moments.
Returning to Lassonauts for a second, people saying, "Oh yeah, the negative reviews say that smooth locomotion is janky." The actual smooth locomotion in Lassonauts, I don't think is janky. I think people are talking about the sliding and the dashing, which yes does have problems still. But I think at the end of the day, I think that's going to get. I'd like to think that's going to get fixed. So that's not a big problem for me. Chris Richardson says currently Sentence is on sale for $5.59. So yeah, dollars. So go check that out if you're a believer in interesting artisanal VR indie experiences. Quite spot on.
So that was review 2 out of 7. Okay? Let me know. Is this the right image for the next one?
Is this a Rogue Escape? Yeah, this is a Rogue Escape.
A Rogue Escape is up next. Is this the puzzle one that I jumped in on as well?
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago.
Cool. So yeah, hit it with a Rogue Escape.
Cool. So if you haven't played it, a Rogue Escape is a kind of room scale, kind of escape room style puzzle game. It is all about like commandeering these interesting mechs, or not mechs, but like submarines and a zeppelin, and you don't really get very clear instructions at the start on how to operate them. So it's about poking this button, pulling this lever, and turning the wheel, seeing what that can get you. And it's a very interesting room scale experience. There's no smooth locomotion. You have to have a space wide enough to lean in and grab all of this stuff. It's a very interestingly stuffy game is the way I've been thinking about it. So you start out in a submarine, you're underwater obviously, and you get that really cramped, claustrophobic, steamy feeling, if you know what I mean. Like when you watch any of those movies where people get caught in submarines, or they're doing submarine battles and everyone's like bathed in red light and like they want to take off their clothes because it's just so sweaty, and Jude Law is probably like really, really anxious about something. It's that kind of game. And the more you figure out about the controls, the kind of harder it gets. So you get into you get into some squid battles, as you can see here, which is very cool. You get into some kind of interesting little underwater battles that you don't see something happening outside of the port, but you have like that kind of sonar blip that gives you a rough estimation of what's going on and where. You have to power up the weapons without them overcharging, take down other people. It will take you about 2 hours to get through this one, I think, without any guides. I have to actually, hands up, I have to say, I did use a guide for this one because, not all the way through, obviously I tried to work out what I could when I could, but it is an incredibly obscure experience. And even at the very, very start, I was stuck for a good half an hour thinking, what the heck do I do? Because it's just not super, super clear. And that's not going to appeal to everyone, to be fair. Again, I think I haven't got a review up on the website yet, but I think I'll go over 3 stars for this, because it is just so brilliantly committed to such a hard type of puzzling at the end of the day that is really, really going to click for some people. I have to say personally, like being in that stuffy experience and not being able to work out what I need to do very easily, that's not something that really speaks to me very much. And I struggled with the game, but I did enjoy it, and I did completely appreciate what it was trying to get across the entire time. So it's an interesting one. It's a fun one if you are into those escape room heavy, getting stuck for a while, working through information and text and trying different things, trial and error, going through to different locations, maybe finding that in some locations you don't actually have to do anything and that you've actually could have saved time going somewhere else. If all of that speaks to you as this cool, in-depth, immersive experience, and the immersion of it is really, really cool, that is a really, really good thing to hit on. I love that it is room scale only. I love that you do need a good amount of space to just come and try everything. If you like all of that stuff and you love an escape room, I think it's really, really cool. I struggle with puzzle games when they are this hard in VR, and I struggle with them when they're this hard in VR, especially because if I can't work out what I'm doing in a space, I'm like, well, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to stand around with this face brick on my head thinking, oh, what do I do? So that's something I struggled with. But if you're a puzzle game fan, I definitely recommend you try this one. And if you're a hard puzzle game fan, I definitely recommend you try this one.
So just a quick, not relevant thing that's just happening in chat. Yes, I did just take a drink. It does look like I'm about to sneeze and then I don't.
We've been trying to do it when we're not on camera, but
I didn't notice that. It was on both of us still. I cracked open a brew. So how does that compare to the Room VR?
Just quickly, Hoshi, I think the game does have left-handed support. I can't give you a definitive answer, Sniper Elite, but I will answer that for you definitively, but I'm pretty sure it does. And people are comparing Rogue Escape to Intercosmos, and that's a very good comparison. It's basically Intercosmos, just a different game. Sorry, Xena, what did you ask me?
How does it compare to the Room VR?
I like the Room more, but the Room is a more accessible, more intuitive kind of thing, right?
It makes more sense, I feel.
Yeah, Fireproof Games has had, that's like the fifth or fourth Room game, and they've got that art down. And that's not to say this doesn't. It's doing a very different, more deliberate thing of it wants you to work out confusing machinery. That's what this game wants you to do, and then it wants you to keep spinning the plates of making sure you have enough fuel, making sure you don't run out of battery, making sure that you're not harming the engine with how much heat damage there is, and everything like that. So, yeah, it's absolutely achieving what it's setting out to do. It's just what it's setting out to do is a very niche thing that's not going to speak to a wide amount of people. But that's not necessarily a problem. I'm not in that group, but I still think it was a good experience.
Pray tell.
Yes.
Is this the next game?
No, that's Doom Eternal.
Oh god, I can't see it on the small images.
Oh, I see what you do. I see what you mean.
Is that
it? That's it. That's
there we go. Eternal.
Doom Eternal. Starlight.
Starlight is the next one that we're going to be reviewing. This kind of looks like Agos.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. I was thinking about that as I was playing this. That it's not Agos. It's Agos was that difficult to control the ship, navigating through space in a very calm, serene thing. This is essentially just a real-time strategy game, kind of comparable to Demio more than it would be Agos, in that you have that kind of isometric view that you zoom in, zoom out. It's also a permadeath procedural kind of game where every time you die, you start the campaign over again, but you can take on different missions, choose a different story to follow through. And the whole idea is that there's an evil alien race that's out to eat you. You've got a certain number of missions to make some friends, get some resources to build up a good army to take them on. I still need to play more of Eternal Starlight to really get to grips with it, I think. But I have to say I'm quite a fan of its mechanics and its instancy. I love being able to zoom in and out of a whole big wide space battle. You pick an individual unit, you drag a line to where you want it to go, or you target the ship you want it to target, and then between missions you're either going to spend money repairing your ship, putting on new weapons, getting new ships to accompany you, or just things like repairing or adding extra weapons essentially. And you don't get a lot of resources, so it's pretty hard. I've done a couple of runs of the campaign on normal and I haven't got through it yet because it's quite tough and you need to learn more about it. It is quite an accessible game. You will pick it up in about 15 to 20 minutes. I would say you're going to see most of what it has to offer. It's not like a Red Alert game where it's going to be a massive campaign full of different diverse objective types and whatnot. But I think it's very, very cool, and I think it's got a lot of promise. I let's not call this one a review, because thinking about it now, I definitely want to play it more before I get into anything more serious about it. But that released on Quest. Yeah, that released on Quest and Steam VR a couple of weeks ago, and I think if you missed it, and you're an RTS fan, that's worth going back to check out for sure.
I'm quite liking this little, like, just asking you the human encyclopedia of VR games to just go through like the latest bits and bobs. So Agos is apparently on sale. And Artful said
Agos is great. I love Agos.
Agos can only be Agos. That is true. I only looked at like like the tininess of the ship, out in space, and all these bitty bobs everywhere.
Atmospherically, it definitely has some of that. The soundtrack is very synthy. Here's what I was going to say in my. Obviously, playing it, I'm starting to formulate what I'm going to say in a review, and I wanted to call it a one-man Star Trek bridge crew, because you do get to spend some time on the bridge where you do conversations, and one of the storylines is about a lost scientist, and you eventually find him, and he comes up on the screen, and he's a guinea pig called Dr. Chin Chin.
Oh!
So I thought you might like that.
What's that film called?
G-Force.
G-Force, the game! G-Force is in VR, everyone!
There was a G-Force game. It wasn't very good.
Oh, belly laugh. What happened to the Sniper Elite VR Q&A? So we had that right at the beginning, but we are still welcoming any question, like anything at all that you want to ask. Bring it on in. Just keep on asking it. It's just kind of sprinkled throughout.
Also, we can't see. I don't know if this is the same on your tablet, but I can't see the very, very bottom of
We
the
can't
chat,
hear
so
you very well when you lift your headset up.
Oh, sorry. Ignore me anyway. I can read the full thing. I thought it was going to be throughout the podcast. Yeah, Hailstorm, it's throughout the podcast, but no one else has asked the Sniper Elite question recently, have they?
Oh, we got 7 goddamn reviews to get through.
Yeah, we got to get through that stuff. But
so
if you want to ask more questions, please fire away. I will answer.
Just unload them into the chat. So that was Lassonauts, Sentence VR, A Rogue Escape, and Eternal Starlight. Those were the games that we had to kind of catch up on, so to speak. Yep. 3 games are out today. All of them are for Quest. All of them we've kind of mentioned before, but shall we start off with Chess Club, which previously I said it's a chess game, but there's a twist to it. There's what did people say, like wizard's chess or something like that. There's like an animated side to it, where like
is wizard's chess a Harry Potter thing?
I don't really know. Maybe.
I think it is.
Oh God! Damn don't nerds. Ask us about anything. Don't even reference Harry Potter. We don't know a goddamn
Get
thing.
Out!
Get out! Get out my pub! Anyway. Oh God! Off the hinges.
I just don't know the tangents you're going to take these things sometimes. I'm just trying to find an image of this chess club. This supposed chess club.
Battle chess.
Battle chess. I think battle chess is is an official, like an old classic, I believe. I wouldn't know. I don't play much chess. I won't. I'll tell no word of a lie.
This podcast is interesting because yes, I'm in the room with Jamie technically, and I'm looking at your comments. I just feel like I'm just allowed to say any stupid thing that comes into my head because I'm just sat alone in a room, kind of blindfolded, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be spewing this random stuff. Anyway,
let's pause for a couple of questions on Sniper and stuff. I don't know if it's going to be crossed by. My gut would tell me probably not, but I don't know. I'll ask about that once we're out of the podcast. To be fair, price. We will be confirming the price tomorrow. I just need to double check, but it will be in an article on Sniper that goes live tomorrow. So if you're wondering about that, definitely check out UploadVR tomorrow. Is the Bloober team making Silent Hill VR? I don't know, Traveling Man. The reports suggest it's making a Silent Hill game. What's happened mostly with Bloober's games is that they make them flat screen and then someone else will come in to port them to VR. So if that's going to happen, probably many years before we get a Silent Hill VR game, unfortunately. Anyway,
That's the blue speaking Xena.
Over to Chess Club.
So just real quick, Chess Club devs have said they will be adding a training mode at a later date, apparently for those who cannot play chess as well.
Oh, that's a good point, because I hadn't even thought that like there's not really any tutorial. That's interesting.
That's part of my chess club when I was in primary school. But anyway, Jamie, take it away on Chess Club.
Yeah, and no, we haven't seen any quest footage of Sniper yet, but I'm looking forward to seeing it. I also
the logo kind of looks like Chess Cluse.
Chess Cluse. Also, I don't know if there's controller smoothing in Sniper Elite. Someone explain to me what they really mean by controller smoothing, and I'll try and think of if it has it. But in the meantime, Chess Club, chess in VR, you know, pretty much. Here's the thing, like it's a really good take on chess in VR. There's two themes to it. You can kind of see them on the board now. One of them is this really cool Stonehenge thing where you do get the Wizard's Chess experience, yes, that these pieces are animated, and when you tell a pawn to walk forward on the board, they'll actually, walk forward and march forward. And then when they take a piece, they each have like cool little individual battle animations. And then you also get a classic experience sitting in what looks like a mansion in a foyer with a piano playing somewhere, and you're like, oh, okay, is this what people that play chess do all the time?
Yes.
I think it's got really, really good support. I'm starting to write my review, and what I put in the headline is it's pretty much all you could ask for from chess in VR, and that is it has a bunch of different AI difficulty modes, and I can just about beat the normal mode. I get absolutely trounced by the Grandmaster difficulty.
I think I heard you from the other room shout, "Yes, I beat the AI."
Yeah, I did. I was not expecting to beat the AI, because I wouldn't call myself the best at chess. I know how it works, but I wouldn't say I'm great at it. But I beat the AI. I was very happy about that. You can also meet up with friends. And then there's actually one of the cool features is there's like a recommended player section on one side of the map. So if you're looking for someone that you think is kind of on your skill level, I think that's really, really cool, right? That's a very good way to find other people. It's kind of a shame this didn't release a year ago at the start of the pandemic, because it's such a cool way to play chess. And it reminds me of Demio again in some ways, of just, it does a very, very good job of bringing a fun, engaging tabletop experience to VR, but then the social element being what actually really, really enhances it. And that's something that's basically it on Chess Club at the end of the day. I think it's got really great polish. I think they've done two really, really good themes. I think, were we just saying in the comments that there's going to be more? Because I would love to see more. That's going to be one of my negatives, as it were, that there's only two types. I would even take more environments just than the Stonehenge thing, but keep the animations of these characters. I would just love more places to be in it. And it would be cool to get some like crossplay in there or something as well. I don't know if this is all still to work out, but I don't think it's in there, and that would be cool if they released a flat screen version just so you could play with pretty much whoever you wanted to play with. So yeah, Chess Club, cool. I love
out of 5.
I love chess. Probably going to be a 4, because it's chess. It's a very good take on chess. Could use a couple more environments and ideas and everything like that, but it's very, very decent, very, very, very solid.
Wonderful. I really like the look of it. I think it would do actually really well as a like board game series, like do Checkers Club, Backgammon Club.
Yeah, it would be cool. It would,
like
yeah.
that.
Well, because there is
different themes.
Tabletop.
That would be banging.
There is Tabletop Simulator on PC, and that should really come to Quest, because that is just giving you the pieces physically and letting you play, which I think is really, really cool.
Yeah, but that's different though of the animating the pieces as characters and kind of making that into its own thing. I think this idea is really freaking cool. And should definitely be taken advantage of beyond this.
We should play a match today or something if you want to. I'd
You
be
sure? I
definitely
was
down
really good at chess when I was 10.
I don't mind losing. That's fine.
You will.
Giovanni is saying that controllerless moving is dampening the hands, so they're not jittery when you aim down a scope. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say it does have that, because the fact that I can aim down a sniper scope and hit someone from 100 meters away when I'm just pretending to hold a sniper, I'm pretty sure it's doing a bit of work there for you. I have noticed sometimes it can get very jittery actually when I'm playing, but that doesn't happen all the time, and that's, most of the time I'm kind of straight shooting. So if you need that kind of assist, I don't think you're gonna struggle with it in Sniper Elite VR.
Wonderful. I'm just going to try and get up the image for the next game that you're going to be talking about.
Oh, do we not have one? Madrid. It's not a game. It's a movie.
Sorry.
Let's go to the cinema to watch a movie, because that's what's happening.
Here we go, I think. I'm not sure how representative of it is.
No, that's it.
Oh, that is very representative. Indeed.
Yeah. All right, you're certainly right about needing that water, but these are the last two. I'm glad we're doing this, and then we're ending on Tarzan, because I'm looking forward to talking about Tarzan again.
Just ripping it apart.
Lord of the Jungle.
Lord!
So, here we go. Madrid Noir. Let's go again.
No!
Madrid Noir is kind of a new 45-minute VR movie dropping on Quest today. It's the continuation of something started by a team called No Ghost a couple of years ago. They did something called Madrid Noir Prologue, which is really just kind of like a prototype for fleshing out storytelling techniques. And then Atlas V or 5 picked it up and worked on this full experience. I thought it was quite interesting. It's set in Madrid, as you might imagine. There's this girl down here, I believe she's called Lola, and you start out with an older version of Lola coming back into her uncle's apartment many years later to kind of go through his stuff since he's gone missing, try and get some things in order. And you're with her, and she starts to recount this story of the summer she spent with her uncle. She came from elsewhere in Spain to Madrid to see him, but starts out having this very mundane summer where she's locked inside all day while he's out doing work and everything like that. Which I have to say, being locked inside in Madrid in summer seems like an absolute crime against humanity. And but she's an investigative young girl. She's wondering what's going on. She has a little pug that she's friends with who is also quite investigative. So one day they decide to follow her uncle, and things progress, and she gets into some trouble. And so some I don't want to spoil it, because it's only a short thing and there's not too much story to it. So that's probably about as far as I'd go. I thought it was good. I thought it was interesting. I was more into the present day parts when you're doing like a first person thing and there's some interaction in there. So things like turning on lights, pinning up photos, handing the phone over to a character, all of that stuff I think is really, really interesting. And No Ghost and Atlas V do a great job of making Lola feel like a really interesting, alive character in front of you. When you go back to the past, it's kind of that third-person diorama thing, and that's a little less interesting to me unless you're doing something like Battlescar, where you're changing up the storytelling techniques so quickly that you don't have time to settle on any particular one of them. That doesn't kind of do that. This is kind of more set in some established norms, which are still interesting, just not inherently connected to VR, I don't think. There are some interesting experiments with things like chase scenes and action scenes, which are all very, very cool. But yeah, it's the stuff in first person that really, really speaks to me. And there's just enough of that stuff in here to make the 45-minute runtime, like a fun romp. I thought it was really good. Didn't think it was as good as Battlescar. But if you're interested in VR movies, VR storytelling, it's got some pretty interesting techniques in there that I definitely think are worth checking out.
So out of 5?
Probably will be a 3. Haven't finished writing that one, but probably going to be a 3 out of 5 for Madrid Noir.
Are you ready?
This is Tarzan, Lord of the Jungle.
I won't let them destroy my jungle.
So Tarzan's out on Quest this week, which I think we were saying earlier in the podcast. Actually, before we do Tarzan, someone's asking more Sniper Elite questions, and then we'll get back to it. In Sniper Elite VR, are the maps from the 4th game? Bogart, I haven't played the 4th game, but I'm pretty sure they're all new maps. I'm pretty sure they're all new maps. Unless you saw something and then it looked very, very similar. I think they're all the same. Tarzan VR out on Oculus Quest this week, which completes the trilogy of episodes. The first 2 released on Steam VR last year, and I think the 3rd episode is also coming to Steam VR soon, if not today. But it's the whole game on Quest. Tarzan is so strange. This is such a strange game. So there are bits of it that are actually really, really fun. I really like doing some of the Tarzan-y things, which includes swinging on vines. I think they get the mechanics of that down very well. I think the game is actually... I haven't played it on Quest yet. I've only played the Steam VR version, but I think it's absolutely gorgeous to look at. I love the comic book art style. I also think it's a fun celebration of the classic side of the franchise. You know, there's a lot of throwbacks to the older Tarzan storytelling mediums in there, so comic books and TV and radio drama and whatnot, which are all very, very strange. But it's just the weirdest thing, man. There's these 3 levels, and each one is basically a grassy corridor. You charge down it, a gorilla will come and start talking to you. There are quotes from older Tarzan media just endlessly repeating, like just always there's someone nattering in the background, whether it's a gorilla, the radio, or an enemy. Someone is in the background going either like, I am the Lord of the Jungle, or Tarzan, you have to go save Jane, or Jane shouting up from above, help Tarzan, I'm in a helicopter, or the bad guys are like, I'm gonna beat the piss out of you, and they do say that. Like, okay, that's a very weird thing to do, but okay. And you're just, at some point, you're just like, can everyone just shut up and let me be Tarzan, please? Why are you all talking right now? And then the gorillas run at you in this really terrifying way where you're like, what the hell, are you going to murder me? And then they just run right up to you and start talking to you. And you're like, okay, you're not going to murder me. You're talking to me. This guy, the great ape,
angry.
at the end of the first level, the great ape, you encounter him, let's say. He's the leader of the apes. But he's been beaten up by the bad guys. So he's bleeding a bit. But it's just weird little drops of blood just coming out of his nose onto you. And you're like, what the heck is going on? And then you get into the combat, which is literally just throwing your fists around enemies that run straight up to you like this. And you're like, oh, what do I do? Like, wee-waggle, just get them. There's no, like, you know, there's no systems to it. There's nothing... It's just inherently shallow. And you're just playing through it and thinking, I love the way this looks. I love the kind of tributes it's doing to Tarzan, but what the heck is going on? This is so strange. And yeah, I wouldn't say I felt like the Lord of the Jungle so much as, ready for it, the Lord of the Fumble.
Oi! Yes. My boy.
So again, I haven't, and disclaimer part, I think that's a shame because I think Fun Train, the publisher, did a great job with Exorcist, and I think the developer Stonepunk is doing very cool things with a very similar game that they started called Primordium.
Do you have to kill elephants, by the way?
I haven't encountered the elephants yet. Maybe the elephants are in episode 3. We'll find out later. And also, yeah, those 2 episodes took me about 20 minutes apiece. So if the third one's a similar kind of thing, then the game's maybe an hour long, if less, if not maybe a bit more.
So the thing about Tarzan VR, I remember there being a kind of dev diary sort of thing. And they were having such a blast making this. And I think that's obvious. Like, it just seems like one big funny thing, right? They clearly care about it, but I think they also know that it's just a massive meme, right?
It's going memey for sure. Sometimes when you beat up the enemies, they fart.
For God's sake.
I'm just like,
I remember you being like, really? Was that a fart or?
Yeah, and then I killed the next guy and he farted too, and I'm like, what? Again, just what is going on? Why are you doing that in Tarzan? It's so confusing. It's such a weird game. I wish it were a better game. But it's
I'm gonna bring it back to this
bizarre.
image again. We all enjoy this image very much. What the heck is going on? I don't know.
And so the other thing to say about it is obviously the best thing about it is the soundtrack, which
my boy
is in the trailer. It's an absolute banger. Absolute banger.
I am the Lord of the Jungle. I want to do karaoke to that.
Yeah, I wish the game lived up to the soundtrack, but
I wish it was constant.
Weird ways
throughout.
It does. But yeah, I wish it was just playing that over and over again.
Can't you buy the soundtrack on Steam?
We have the soundtrack on Steam. So I still need to play the third level, so don't count that as the official review unless I play the third level and it's all completely the same. But we'll see. That's Tarzan, everybody. Chris really likes the fact that enemies fart when you die. Yes, that's very true.
Do you know if it's cross-buy? I don't know if you covered that already. Sorry.
I don't think it's out on the Oculus PC store, so I don't think so. I don't think it is. No,
Adam, it's definitely not students. It was definitely older people doing it, like adults.
Yeah, it's by a good studio called Stonepunk, who did a really cool game called Primordian, which I'm quite fond of. But it's also a very similar game in terms of very linear level design and waggly combat. It was just also a bit more interesting than what you did here.
Yeah, I agree with Traveling Man. It definitely needs more structure, more like play on the comic book stuff way more. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it's interesting because they do come up with these interesting ideas throughout the hour.
They got this going on as well.
So if you do the chest beating, well, that's more of the comic book stuff. If you do the chest beating near a lion and let out a lion roar, you tame the lion and he fights with you, but the lion just murders everyone straight away. Like it's not like, oh, he's a bit helpful. He literally just pounces on people and they die. So you don't need to do anything once you have the lion. You just look around and watch him murder stuff. And I suppose to some degree, it's meant to be this idea of like it's a power fantasy, and it shouldn't necessarily have loads of really in-depth mechanics because you're just trying to do the Tarzan experience of swinging and punching, and he doesn't need to struggle. He's Tarzan. But it's like these are weird wee waggle situations I'm getting into, and these are weird enemies running up to me and I'm just confused the entire time.
So, Smash Reality, I'm really glad to hear that you've never actually punched someone to death. Congrats to you. I don't think any of us really want to find out if people just fart when they get punched to death, so
yeah.
We'll just have to believe Tarzan on that one.
Artful guessed 3 out of 5. Paradise DK guessed 2 out of 5. I think, again, I haven't played episode 3, but right now we're trending a bit more towards Paradise DK's estimate.
Ah.
I want to give it more. I don't want to think it's bad because it's colorful and lovely and has such love for the source material. Although people are bringing up very, very interesting comments about how Tarzan is a very antiquated, archaic thing that hasn't probably aged so well in this day and age. But
oh yeah, Chris, you're totally right. Yeah,
it's just weird, man. It's just a weird VR game, and I'm amazed that it got approved for the Quest Store. To be honest, I was not expecting to see it on the Quest Store.
It's interesting because who's the developer again? They did Exorcist VR as well, right?
Yeah, the publisher Fun Train
The
also
publisher.
did. Yeah,
So
also did
it
the
kind
really
of
good
feels like
Exorcist game.
they're taking these like big IPs and they're making them into VR games, right? So
Yeah.
I wonder what's next. Like they seem like such random picks as well, right?
Yeah, well, but it's interesting because in some senses, like Tarzan is kind of like The Exorcist in that it is trying to get as close as possible to the source material in interesting ways without following that established game pattern. It's just without that established game pattern, you just have this strange, almost undecipherable experience that sort of just passes you by. Like as you're rushing through the world, it's just you're rushing past you, and you just end up getting to the finish line, thinking, "Wait, what just happened?" You know.
Yeah. So Paradise DK is talking about the port to Quest apparently is awful. So again, you said you haven't tried the Quest
Okay,
port yet.
yeah. So they didn't do the Quest port. That's interesting to know. Because I've the Quest trailer is not as pretty as the Steam VR trailer. So that's a thing.
The live action one?
Artful says everyone lets off gas when they are dead as the built up gases leave the body. Sentenced
True
again.
that.
Oh. If they added that into Sentence VR, that would be Game of the Year material right there.
Well, I was just thinking about a quote from Sentence VR that I don't think we're gonna repeat here, but something about
I heard
a
he
chicken.
shagged a chicken.
Did he say shagged?
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Brilliant.
Sorry if you're
That's why
young
I thought
and
it was
shouldn't
in
know what that
Britain
is.
because it was just very like kind of
Yeah, it's
British sayings.
a UK indie dev, to be fair.
Yeah.
Solo dude called Samuel Gordon.
I think that wraps up all of the reviews, right?
Yeah, and if you have any last sniper questions, I guess get them in the next minute or two, because that's pretty much it.
While you're talking about the Sniper VR questions, like while you're putting them in the chat, Sniper Elite VR has been our upload access title for the past week. Starting Monday, Fracked will be our upload access title for the whole of July. And we're really looking forward to it. Oh my god, we've got gameplay, we've got interviews, we've got in-depth looks at bits and bobs. Sorry, I keep saying bits and bobs today. Bits and bobs. We've got some in-depth looks. We went and saw developers' end dreams, and we've got really cool stuff from them.
Yeah.
We're really looking forward to this month, and we are really looking forward to talking about Fracked. So basically, I don't know. We'll be posting the schedule on UploadVR.com. Follow us on social media. We'll be talking about it a lot. When you see this upload access logo on stuff, go for it. Click on it. It's totally exclusive to UploadVR.com, including Sniper Elite VR stuff. And yes, it is a PSVR exclusive. So, apologies for those Quest and PC VR enthusiasts, but yeah, this is a PSVR one. Get out! We don't care. We care.
We don't want your kind here. Yeah. Does Sniper Elite have a roadmap? Like a post-launch update roadmap? No, it doesn't. I don't necessarily know what would be on that. There's no multiplayer or anything. It's just a single-player campaign. So, what you see is what you get, sort of thing.
Yeah, there's lots to look forward to with Fracked for sure, but that about wraps up whatever I want to say.
Yep.
Again, any last minute Sniper Elite VR questions or anything that you need to know immediately?
Just check it. Just come back next week, because that's when the review of Sniper Elite's going to go live. That's when the review of Sam and Max is going to go live. So it's going to be another busy week.
When is that? Sorry, again? The 8th? No.
Yeah, that'll be a week today. Their Quest launches, so a week today.
Wonderful. And Sniper Elite releases on everything on the same day, right?
Yes.
Cool.
So PSVR and PC too.
Yeah, it's bittersweet, isn't it? That it's a PSVR exclusive. For PSVR people, it's very well deserved. They've PSVR have got some of the best titles. Like,
Yeah.
You can count on Sony to provide to a certain extent. But who knows? It might come elsewhere much later on down the line. Exclusives kind of dry up after a while, right?
Yeah, for sure. We don't know. We don't know. But
we don't know
all the same, check it out because it's going to have some cool footage and cool interviews. And that's about that.
Cool. All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up there. If you've got any other questions, you can hit us up at UploadVR on Twitter and Facebook. And yeah, we'll see you every Thursday. we will be here next Thursday. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, next Thursday, what is it? 9 a.m. PT, 5 p.m. BST. We'll be here talking about games, reviewing bits and bobs. And yeah, it's been fun. Thank you to everyone in the chat for joining in.
Yeah, thanks guys. Good to see you again. Been a while.
Yeah. And I'm just going to reach over here for my mouse. I'm not in the shot.
No, you're gone. You're disappearing.
Goodbye, everybody.
Farewell.
Farewell.
Good lives.